Welcome back to Dr. Pronghorn's Make a Long Vlog. We bought a Citroen. It's a 1961 DS station wagon. They called it a break in France or a safari in the USA, and it seats 6. So 2 in the front, 2 in the middle, and then 2 little bitty jump seats in the back. And the question is, should we put seat belts in for the jump seats? Someone has gone ahead and added seat belts for all the other seats, including shoulder belts for the front, which is great, although we may be replacing the actual belts with newer webbing as we move ahead. What we're going to do today is just kind of give you an overview of the car and tell you about some of the big problems that we see right now and try to figure out how we're going to tackle them as we move forward. All right. Jennifer's number one problem with the car is this ball hitch. Jennifer, why don't you show them what the problem was with the ball hitch? There's little buttons here and there, and we can't open the trunk because of the ball hitches in the way. So that's the first thing we're going to do is fix that. Also, we need to figure out where all these wires are supposed to go that operate the taillights. And just as an aside, the blinkers don't work, but at least the brake lights and the headlights work for now. What? Yeah. Things that make sense about our Citroen. All of the wheels are held on by a single nut in the middle of the wheel. You have to have a giant Allen key to take the wheels off. Well, I'll show you how you do the wheels in a minute. We're pretty happy. It's got all of the parts except for a few little things, and so it'll just be a matter of reupholstering and cleaning to get the interior to be in pretty good shape. So complete back seat. We are missing, there's supposed to be a metal piece here, but I'm tracking that down. Door panels are in really good shape. Oh, we still don't have that unlocked. Here, will you take the key? Yeah. So one of the things about these Citroens is that the doors actually only unlock on the outside if you use the key on them. It'll stay locked even if you unlock on the inside. It's rolling a little bit because the emergency brake doesn't work. So, interesting things about our Citroen. No glove box. Missing the glove box completely, so we have to figure out how to make a glove box or buy one. It's got a solid state AM radio in it. I think that's going to get replaced. Original speedometer, which we don't know if this is miles per hour or kilometers per hour, so if you have an idea, let me know in the comments. We're supposed to be getting this trim piece that goes around the speedometer from the fella that sold it to us. It has a temperature gauge added in. You can see it wired so expertly into the car. This is because it's got an overheating problem right now, and so we're going to be tracking that down to figure out why it can't stay cool. I think it may have to do with the timing. The emergency brake doesn't work. No emergency brake at all. And if you're an American, you may not be familiar with these cars. They have a 1-spoke steering wheel. This is actually original to the design. It's a safety feature, so if you're in a crash, the steering wheel actually collapses around this single spoke, so it doesn't impale you and kill you. Don't know if the fuel gauge really works. When it's on, it says it's full on gas. The clock does not work, and I'm not even sure how to set it. So that's great. There's levers. These levers seem to operate the fresh air vents, but as you can see in the engine compartment, the ducts aren't complete, so fresh air vents they are not. They are just engine compartment vents into the body of the car. The headlights work. This is the headlight switch here. It's also the horn, right? Yeah. It is. So the headlights actually work.
Oh yeah, got a little bit of a bite.
Yeah. And then it's got some interesting controls. There's a button here that's spark control. This is a knob, and as you turn it, it actually rotates would rotate the distributor and change the spark advance. I don't know why there's a manual spark advance controller in this car, but there is. I think this is a light that just tells you if it's charging, and this is the knob that controls the brightness of the dashboard lights. This is the windshield washer button, and it doesn't work. Most of the pieces are missing on that. The windshield wipers do work, so that's the knob for that. You got your ignition and your separate start button. This is to turn on and off the interior light, which is not the dashboard lights, but is instead a light. It's like the dome light. Right over there.
Yeah, I don't think it works.
I don't think it works either. This is the button to turn the choke on and off, pull in and out. That's not working right now, but I think we can fix it without having to buy new parts.
There's a wire in the engine for it.
And then this is the front heater on-off control, which I think has to do with the heating system. But there's also like this knob, which says air conditioning, defroster, heating. I don't think there's actually air conditioning in the sense that we have today. There's no compressor or anything, but this I think controls whether the air goes to the vents above the windshield. And then this is like the heater core control. The heater core is bypassed right now in the engine compartment, so that's going to have to get fixed.
What's that down there?
Oh yeah, what's this down here? So these Citroens don't actually have a brake pedal, they just have this little button, and the button actuates a hydraulic switch because the brakes are completely hydraulic. So they're run by the same hydro-pneumatic system that runs the suspension and raises and lowers the car. And that means that if you run out of, if your engine stops, then you lose brakes too, which is not optimal. That's why we need the emergency brake. It's got a regular clutch and then a regular gas pedal. And then I'm not sure what this is. It says flasher, and there's a lot of electrical gremlins we're going to have to work on because like right now the turn signals don't work at all. Yeah. So.
And shifting?
Oh, and shifting. That's right. It's got 4 speeds on the tree. So like this is first, this is second, this is third, this is fourth, and then forward and down is reverse. So shifting on the column is not something I'm used to either. I wonder if this is supposed to reset the clock. I don't know. There's another knob here I just noticed, and you can push it and twist it.
Is it the trip set?
There's no trip odometer.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. And there's like so many problems. The electrical system needs to be gone through. We'll get it fixed, but like turn signals don't actually stay and they don't come on when you click it. So we'll have to figure that out too. And then there's this knob, which there's this piece right here, I think fits onto it. Yeah, and so you got
the
like
defrost knob.
Yeah, like defroster, heater. I don't know. We're gonna have to figure out what all these parts do. It's been difficult to find manuals and things, or even a place to purchase parts, but we're gonna do it and we'll figure it out.
How do the doorknobs work?
This is crazy. So it's got regular roll-up windows, which some of you watching may not be that familiar with, but you turn this crank, windows go up and down. But the doors unlatch inside with this button right here. So you pull this thumb thing and that unlatches the door. And then there's another button inside, which is actually the lock button. And I'm loath to remember. I think you push this forward and now the door is locked and can't be opened. It can be opened. Well, anyway, there we go. So that locks the door so that presumably it won't pop open in an accident.
Yep.
So we'll have to figure out how all these parts are supposed to work, because I think some of them are still not working 100%. But it's actually really spacious and fun. Oh, the headliner. The headliner. Gross. We're gonna pull all this out. I'm not sure it's original. It looks kind of like someone just has glued it up and shoved it in the corners. There's this rubber trim all the way around the outside that's just dried up and gross. So we're gonna have to pull that out and figure out how to replace it with something better. And you can see when they retrofitted the seat belts, they just pulled this rubber trim up and tucked it sort of behind these inserts where the shoulder belts attach. So we'll figure all that out too. But the goal, we're gonna put Dynamat in on the roof and on the floor to help it be less noisy when we drive. The goal with this car is to make it into a real quiet cruiser, like the luxury wagon that it was intended to be originally. Don't forget, we still got the Jeep. You can go watch all those Jeep videos. I'll put a link in the video, but Jeep's still running great. We have more fun Jeep stuff this summer. Okay, engine in the Citroen, it's an inline 4-cylinder with a Hemi head. So it's like a half a V8 Hemi. Each of the spark plugs goes into the middle. And the previous owner we bought it from put a new electronic distributor in, but I think the timing's not set right, and that may be part of why it's overheating. It's got a single barrel carburetor. It's actually really fuel efficient. Car can get like 30 miles to the gallon when everything's tuned up right and you're driving on the freeway. Need to connect up the choke. This is the choke and it's not connected. This wire that's on there is actually the one for the spark advance. It's a lot of stuff. Somebody replaced this particular piece of hardware with the ruler at some point. So the water pump, generator, relatively new battery, coil for the distributor, and then what's really cool is it's got this tank for the hydro-pneumatic system, and it feeds the hydro-pneumatic pump over here, which then runs the power steering and the power brakes, but also the suspension. So the whole car has pneumatic suspension, which is a lot like an airbag suspension today. And so from the factory, this car could actually raise itself up 18 inches and lower itself all the way to the ground as a factory, not an option, just like that's how it's built. It's a standard setup. It's got this air duct to bring fresh air into the radiator, and this soft coupling here of vinyl is broken, so we're going to have to source a replacement for that. The biggest problem we have right now is that there's two giant holes in the mufflers, or in the muffler here in the front, and you can see the muffler is held on with the plethora of zip ties. So JB Weld and zip ties did not keep the muffler together, so we're trying to source a replacement muffler and exhaust system for this car. Because of the Frenchness of it, I guess, the exhaust is not something where you can just put in a standard American muffler. You need a very specific French muffler. Yeah, Jennifer's going to move the fresh air duct, and you can see the exhaust comes out of the engine, runs around to the muffler here at the very front of the car, and then the muffler actually has the exit run through the middle here in this duct. And so the exhaust is actually tucked way up under the car to give it that low clearance so that you can lower it all the way down to the ground. And that also gives it a much better clearance when you raise it up if you're going to go off-road. So these cars were actually often used as off-road field vehicles back in the 60s. Remember, this is a 1961 car, so been around for what, 63 years? 63. So now we're going to start up the engine, hopefully, we'll cross our fingers, start up the engine, and then demonstrate the hydro-pneumatic suspension for you guys. Okay, ignition on.
This guy right here?
Is that guy, so push it towards the far back.
Okay, it's all the way back.
Okay, let's see if that works now. Oh, I think it chokes more like the Jensen does, where it just adds more gas. It doesn't have a butterfly. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, what are you spraying?
So, this stuff burns way better than gasoline, so...
Almost. Her gas might be old too, right?
Yeah, that's true. We don't know how old the gas is. And so the way that you would change a tire is you'd actually put a jack underneath the car when it's up this high and then set it to go low again, and it'll actually pull the wheels up off the ground on the jacked up side. So I think for working under the car, we'll just raise it up like this and then put jack stands under the four corners and then tell it to lower itself, and it'll pull the wheels up and sit on the jack stands. So that's the plan. I'm going to see if I can lower it just by releasing.
Wait, let me shoot the back end real quick.
Okay, yeah. The fact that it'll run and do this, even if it's really crappy right now, is a sign we're not that far from having a really nice car, right? Like the Jeep didn't run at all when I got the Jeep, and now we have this car that does run, although it sounds like a tractor because the muffler is shot. And we can adjust the carburetor, we can adjust the distributor, and we can get it tuned up really nice. I think it's going to be great. Okay, let's try lowering it. Am I getting in first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here.
Oh, we're gonna.
Let's see a tall man squeeze into a short car.
Okay. I can do it. This is us signing out for Dr. Pronghorn's Make Along vlog from our new old Citroen 1961 station wagon. Yeah, if you haven't already liked this video, please, because we need help. We need all the help we can get. And you know, go ahead and subscribe if you want to see what happens to this crazy car of ours. The goal is to eventually be able to drive up to the European Cars and Coffee with all the Bentleys and the Maseratis with our stereo thumping, and then drop all the way to the ground. I think that's going to be a pretty sweet day. So, what do you think we should fix first? Let me know in the comments. What color do you think we should do the interior? Yeah, let Jennifer know in the comments. We're going to make this car beautiful, and thanks for being along for the ride.
Up top, you're rolling. I felt like it was lacking fluids.
It's only got water up to about here.
Okay.
It's gonna be a great car.
Yeah. I have no doubt. Do you fit? What?
Come on. This is actually not uncomfortable.
Are you gonna lower her?
I'm gonna try lowering her. Once you get where you can see more of the car.
Fine, director.